I'll go trucking right on by. I ain't here to sympathize, and I'm not here to criticize.
Well?
Don't tell me them no good lies, 'cause a lying gal I do despise.
That's what I like about the South.
That's what I like about the South. That's pretty cool. It's really cool hearing these really nice souped up headphones too. I'm usually used to hearing that track in my car, so you know I've got like road noise and people honking at me and stuff. So, well, did you get a chance to hear any of that, or?
I didn't get to hear any. I'm
You
going to
didn't
get
hear
to
it.
hear it on the replay.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, it went very well. He talked a lot. I like it when they talk, and doesn't take much to get going. You know, right? Just throw out a few questions there, and they get going. But that's awesome. I mean, I just again, Faded Glory. I don't know what the subtitle is, but Faded Glory by Thomas Alexander. Oh, A Century of Forgotten Texas Military Sites. How's that?
Yeah, and I heard it because I was over there by Gina. Where am I, Gina? I don't see myself yet. Where am I? There it goes. Well, I'm seeing it about 5. Oh, wow, that's like 10 seconds ago. Yeah, a little thing called delay. Oh my goodness, am I primping or what?
Nice smooth panning there. That's
yeah,
great.
She's a professional. Look at that.
We got up on Ustream. I know there's been a lot of hype and stuff about us being on Ustream and we're being streamable or whatever.
Yes.
But you know, it's when you got essentially. Well, now okay, never mind. I won't go that far. But essentially, when you know, when your resources are limited, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to choose wisely. So you know, we thought we'd test one more round, but we said, to heck with it. We'll get it out there. I mean, you have to forgive me. I'm stuffy. I guess I'm stuffier than I thought I was. It's one of those things that one of those type of colds or allergies or whatever where you feel fine.
It's
You're
that
functioning.
Time of year, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we're having. Fortunately, it rained recently, but now it's all coming back in the air. And you know, we had a weird winter, and so it's just that time where it rains and then the pollen comes up. It's driving my husband nuts. He's got severe allergies too.
Yeah. Product placement. Yeah, speaking of product placement, my understanding is,
Wow.
I don't know if they exactly go together, but speaking of product placement, we are, I guess, as of this particular podcast, if you're hearing this if you are in, let me put it this way, if you are in the Central Time Zone in America and it is 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock or 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock p.m. on a Sunday, then that means that we have successfully been uploaded to the JSPAZ the JSPAZ network, right? Is that how you say it?
That's the JSPAZ network. Yes.
JSPAZ network.
Yes.
Courtesy of radiooname.com. So welcome or willkommen. We got some some Europeans out there, I suppose. And welcome to the program and welcome. Thank you for listening. So yeah, I guess I got to watch my mouth now, huh?
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
I was listening to the gentleman who called me. He is not only the owner, but he also has his own show called, you ready for this? Dick in the Butt.
Oh.
That's the name of his show.
Okay.
And so considering that's his show, which by the way it's on radionomy.com, JSPAZ, and it's from 9 to 10 o'clock, and then it repeats from 5 to 6 o'clock, I think is what he said.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the name of his show, Dick in the Butt. And so he's Dick, the other guy's Butt.
It's swell.
And so I don't think you have to watch your mouth. Considering some of the things they talked about, and it's funny to listen to. They play,
right.
They play some 70s type style, 70s, 80s, kind of hard rock metal, and so it's if you're a late 30, 40 something, 50 something, this 60 something, your kind of music. And they're funny.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of their sponsors is, I forget the name of the company, but it's the Liquor and Child Care Center. So I don't think you have to worry.
That can't be real. That's not real.
But this is what I'm listening to as I'm on my way out the door. That was like, what? So,
well, I wanted to talk just a little bit, I suppose, about and one of the reasons I wanted to have Mr. Alexander on the program is as I said in the first segment, and as I was talking before, my family and I like to we're not big mega travelers like some of like Buffy and Peggy up in the Northeast, but we do what we can, and so on long weekends and spring break and such, we'll go around Texas. I mean, it's a big state. It's got a lot of neat little towns.
Oh, absolutely.
And our business model is pretty good, and so we've checked out some of these places that he mentions. Mr. Alexander mentions in Faded Glory. I've actually been to. I've seen or driven past or driven through, and I did talk a little bit in the first segment about San Saba, and I did stop there and got myself a pair of boots.
Yes, and that is on the website. Yeah, you can see his famous pair of boots on the website.
My pair of boots,
and they're pretty. What brand are they, if I might ask? You're still wearing them. Why don't you hold them up for the camera?
They're nothing. I can't.
You can't bend like that.
Yeah, I've been falling on my rear end, and that's not what we need for the first show. We'll save that for the fourth one.
Oh, well, there you go.
But to tell you the truth, I don't know. I don't know what
you bought
brand
a pair
is.
of boots, and you don't even know what kind you got.
I got the box of where they were.
Dude, they're boots. You got to know what you're buying. You got to know what they're.
They were a deal. They were.
Oh, that's spoken like a true guy right there. Hey, they work. They're leather, and it's on sale.
Yep, exactly.
Actually, sure you don't have a little bit of estrogen in you.
But Harry's in San Saba. I guess if we're going to plug anybody, we can plug Harry's, and it's a real place. It's in San Saba, and I couldn't believe this place. I could not believe it. I walked in, and it is wall to wall. I kept walking and walking and walking. There's boots and more boots, all on display, and I was like looking at them, going, "Some of these have got to be women's boots."
They probably are.
Some of these have got to be no.
What? There was all men's boots?
There was one side that was all men's boots, and then you walk to the other side. It was like a big old department store. It used to be a big department store. There's like the department store kind of thing in the middle, and then you keep walking across the alley there, and then there's another row of women's boots, just as long as the men's section.
Oh, my daughter be in heaven. She loves those boots.
Does she?
Oh, yeah. She got herself a cute pair of boots.
She needs to go so you need to take her to San Saba and go to Harry's.
She wished she'd be drilling. That was her Christmas present from her grandmother, was money to go to, I think it's called Callaway's.
Okay.
Did I get that right?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
This thing moves.
It does. Yeah. And it makes a nice pop sound. But money to go to Callaway's and buy herself a hat and a pair of boots.
Yeah.
So
I do have to offer a word of warning. If you do decide to tour Texas and go to some of these small towns, such as San Saba, be aware that on Sundays and Mondays, many of the restaurants are closed.
Really?
Yeah, and some of the commercial places like Harry's, they close right at 5. So.
Oh wow, so, good for them.
Well, and they're not open Sunday. So, but even though I went on a Sunday and a Monday, I still had a good time. Still found good places to eat. On Sunday, I found a barbecue place that was just outside the Piggly Wiggly, or it wasn't Piggly Wiggly, but it was something like a Piggly Wiggly. And I think it might have been a Brookshire's. And there was a place that had a trailer thing, and they operated their barbecue joint right out of there. It was, you walk up,
wow,
and you get your food, and you go somewhere else to sit down.
Yeah.
So it was really good. It was really awesome. And Had a nice relaxing time, and then I met the family. Leslie took Pulls a Skake's Tail, who was 5, and Thunder, who was 11. And if I refer to Leslie as Righteous Owl, that's
yes, that's your wife.
That's my wife. I am Wise Cracker. So.
You know, my daughter's mad at me because I hadn't made up nicknames for her because she's heard the nicknames for you guys. Oh. And she listens to the show one day, and she was listening to me, the one we did last month,
right?
And she heard the names that you have for your kids.
Yeah.
And she looks at me, and then I referred to her as my daughter or something like. And she looks at me, and she goes, "Mom, why have you not gotten me names yet?" You know, like you don't love me. You know.
Aww.
Working on it, sweetie. Yeah. And the strange thing is, if I back up, I actually did many, many months ago, I actually did come up with names for her, and I have completely blundered it.
Forgot them.
Forgotten them. They were pretty good, too. I had a moment of brilliance.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. But I met them in Gonzales, and Gonzales is of historical significance. Mm-hmm. Do you know why? Off the top of your head?
Is that the one that had the cannon?
Yes.
The Come and Take It flag?
The Come and Take It flag and the cannon, yes. Yes, and
the blonde got it.
Well, let's see if I could sum it up for the audience. Do
you have a picture there, Gina, of the cannon?
I don't know if I. Oh, awesome.
Yeah, we'll see it here in about 5 seconds. Anyway, so go ahead.
We'll get to it. The story, if I could make it short, it was right around Texas Revolutionary times, and the Texans or Texians were getting kind of tired and worn out by the Mexicans, and the Mexicans had just become Mexicans, independent from Spain, I guess, maybe 20 years earlier. And they were a poor nation, and so they were doing extra taxing of the Texans, and the Texans said, "Don't do that. We moved here because we're productive people. We don't want, we don't need to be taxed any extra. We get that enough in the Northeast."
Yeah.
So the Texans declared their independence, and the Mexicans said. Well, actually, the Texans had a cannon, right? Mm-hmm. That they procured a couple of years earlier from the Mexican government because they were getting attacked by Indians. So they had this cannon in Gonzales, and I guess it was fairly effective. Gonzales didn't have too many Indian problems. And so when they declared their independence, the Mexicans, I guess the first thing that came to their head was, we want that cannon back.
You think?
If we had Adrian here, he'd bring back the gun. And
I told you we needed to bring him back.
I'll talk about that in a minute.
Really?
I'll talk about that in a minute. Hey, I want my cannon back. Bring that big gun back.
Yes.
And
he'll probably throw in like some Middle Eastern or German or something.
The Texans said, no, come and take it. Yeah. So I'm trying to remember if it was. I get mixed up on time frames sometimes, but I'm trying to remember if it was Santa Anna that had something to do with this. If it was him that was actually doing some of the marching. I'll have to research it. I don't want to get all the time frame all mixed up, but nonetheless, the Mexican army was on the move. They were coming back, and they were coming back from their cannon, and the Texans held them off. Now, and when you go to Gonzales, a lot of that history is there. There's a courthouse there of significance. There's a courthouse. There's an old jail that we visited that kids loved and thought was really interesting. And the cannon is all over the place, at least symbols of it. Mm-hmm. Well, the actual cannon is in a museum that was built. Professor Alexander was talking about the WPA. I think it was built by the Civilian Conservation Corps. No, that doesn't sound right. The other one, one of the other ones. Either or, one of the New Deal era one of the New Deal era programs built this museum in Gonzales, and there's some historical stuff there, and the cannon is there. Okay? Mm-hmm. You want to know? You want to have an idea how big that cannon is?
Show the camera again.
She showed a picture of it, but
yeah,
I don't know
if
I don't know if anybody was standing next to it.
Oh,
was anybody standing next to it in that picture?
No, nobody's standing. So how big was it? Yeah, don't pay attention to this. It'll sink up.
If I told you it was a big cannon, would you believe me?
Yeah, normally you would think those things were big. Well, it looked like it was a pea shooter. The whole size of the hole is.
Yeah, about like that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So that's enough but that still would hurt.
I guess
if you're going at a couple hundred miles per hour.
That's exactly what Righteous Owl said. She said that could still put a hole in somebody. So
yeah.
I was like, well, you got to aim it. Move it and aim it. You know, I mean, those Indians were fast. I mean, they could go right around you. I don't know. So anyway,
well, I guess it's going. I think those things go 200, 300, 400 miles per hour. Really good ones.
Yeah. Well, true enough. I guess in those times that was a valuable piece of artillery. So anyway, but you know, it's not to dismiss it. Not to dismiss the event at all. It's a highly significant event in Texas and American history, and because we were not part of the Union yet, but we were on our way to being our own republic. So, but anyway, that is the come and take it cannon, and then we went to Bryan, Texas. We stayed overnight, and we stayed. One night in Gonzales, and then we did some of the state parks through there. There's Palmetto State Park. I can't remember. Oh, there's Bastrop State Park. Is that you buzzing?
That's me buzzing. Just ignore that.
I'm trying to. I'm like, squirrel. Palmetto State Park and Bastrop State Park, and I was totally blown away because I had gone to Bastrop State Park while I was a student at the University of Texas at Austin in the last century, and Bastrop was a beautiful state park, a beautiful place, lovely pines, lovely shade, and lots of flora and fauna and wildlife, and get back to nature kind of stuff. And I had totally, my Righteous Al and I had totally forgotten about the fact that was one of the locations of the big major fires. When was that? Was that a year ago or 2 years ago? I don't know. But Texas had some major forest fires. I think it was that super dry year.
Oh, yeah.
Must have been the super dry year. And there were people in Austin that I knew that were still living there that sent photos up on Facebook and stuff of they could see the fire from where they were, and that's what it was taking out. It was taking out a great deal of Bastrop State Park. So, but you know, if you're interested in that kind of thing, I mean, you could still hike. I mean, it's still out in the wilderness. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of fascinating to see like stuff melted on the ground and all the ash, the layer of ash that was on the ground. I mean, if you're interested in what's the word? I don't know, fire science.
Yeah, I think that was about 2 years ago.
Yeah,
is it no more than that?
It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Yeah. So then I took the boys. Righteous Al went on home, and I took the boys with myself and went to Bryan. Stayed a night in Bryan, and went to one natural science museum there, which was okay. It was all right. And then there was a what do you call it? The George H.W. Bush.
Yes.
Library.
Yeah, and I think we got a photo of that so that they can see the inside.
Oh, you do?
Yes. Yeah, I'm good. I got you set up.
How about that? Well, and I was impressed. I was very impressed. The folks there, the greeters and such, were all very nice and friendly. It was just exactly what you would expect from from that sort of thing in Texas, a Texas monument, a Texas memorial, so to speak. I say memorial, he's not dead, but a library, right? A presidential library. I've had the honor of being to a couple of presidential libraries around the country, and I think this is right up there. So, there was a lot of stuff about his life that about H.W. Bush that I didn't know, and he seemed like quite. I always felt that he was quite a man, and this library really enhances his legacy. It's awesome. And it's a good place to take the kids. I think it's kid approved. So, there we are. And then we headed on home, and let me see here. I've got a couple of things in store. I'm trying to wrap it up. I'm sorry. I'm like thinking about 3 or 4 different things at once right now, and my head's stuffy. So I'm doing really great. That doesn't necessarily sum up the trip, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I was trying to think of where else did I go? Well, we did lots of things. It was quite a trip. I'm just giving you the highlights. And I guess that kind of leads into, I guess, the reason why I have this written in front of me is is we could go on a little bit about homeschooling, because I've got one boy who is a homeschooled student, the 11-year-old, and the particular climate that's going on right now in Texas as far as homeschoolers go. But the reason I bring it up is because, in the context of taking a kid around to some of these sites, it's just valuable education. It's just valuable in the education process to learn about history and to attach the geography to it as well. All right, well, I tell you what, instead of fumbling, I'm going to take a break. We'll be right back.
There will be droughts and days inundated, veilings free from saturation, departures raised with no masquerading. There will be teachers that die by their own hand, punish that push headlong for atonement, friends and followers devoted to living. There will be watchers that plow for new confines, and those committed to society circles, unweary cogs with no cadence of virtue. There will be right, there will be wrong. Drop of a hat and it's already started, just like that the deed is done. What I'd give for that hat to be medicine. The time is now to be on. There will be machinations unforeseen, sleepwalking scents from a bad dream. No promenade walk in the parkway. There will be catchwords filled with infection, circulars to prop up occasion. No golden mean to guide the footsteps. There will list of indication, semaphore ghost signs and warnings, hailstone halos and country blues wailings. There will be strains that break out of straight time, paved with grace, different roads to the same place. No consequence to repay what's been given. There will be layers of means to an end, drawn out days before resolution. Dregs will rain down from all directions. There will be right, there will be wrong. Drop of a hat and it's on